The crystal glass shattered against the marble floor before anyone could react. Kate Middleton stood frozen, her fingertips still wet from the rim of the glass that had just been in her hand. Around her, the reception hall fell into complete silence. 200 guests stopped mid-conversation. The string quartet's music died on the last note, and standing directly in front of her was Royal Guard officer James Thornton, his white-gloved hand still extended from the strike that sent her drink flying. His face showed no emotion, no apology, no explanation. Kate's heart pounded. In all her years as the Princess of Wales, nothing like this had ever happened. The protocol was sacred. The Royal Guard existed to protect, to serve, to remain invisible. They never interfered. They certainly never made physical contact with a member of the royal family. Yet here stood Officer Thornton, rigid as a statue, his eyes locked somewhere past her shoulder. "James." Kate whispered. He didn't respond. Didn't blink. The muscles in his jaw. Behind her, Kate heard the sharp click of heels. Security was moving. Within seconds, 3 officers surrounded Thornton, hands hovering near their concealed weapons. The head of palace security, Margaret Chen, appeared at Kate's side, her voice low and urgent. "Your Royal Highness, please step back." But Kate didn't move. She was reading Thornton's face now, really reading it. And what she saw wasn't aggression. It was terror. Pure, controlled terror buried deep behind those trained, emotionless eyes. Before you continue watching, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss stories like this. We bring you the most incredible true moments you won't find anywhere else. The shattered glass lay between them like evidence at a crime scene. Kate noticed something then. The champagne that had spilled across the white marble wasn't evaporating normally. It was fizzing. Tiny bubbles rising from the liquid in a way that champagne never did. Her blood went cold. "Everyone stay calm," Margaret said into her hidden microphone. "We have a possible code silver. Repeat, code silver in the Grand Hall." Kate knew what code silver meant. Poisoning attempt. The room erupted into controlled chaos. Guests were ushered toward the exits by security officers who appeared from every corner. The royal family members present were immediately surrounded by their protection details. But Kate's eyes never left Thornton. He was trembling now. Just slightly. A tremor in his fingers that only someone standing this close could see. "How did you know?" Kate asked softly. For the first time, Thornton's eyes met hers. In them, she saw something that chilled her more than the poisoned champagne ever could. Guilt. "I'm sorry, Your Royal Highness," he whispered, so quietly only she could hear. "I'm so sorry for what's about to happen." Before Kate could ask what he meant, Thornton's legs buckled. He collapsed to the floor, his body convulsing. White foam appeared at the corners of his mouth. Someone screamed. Margaret grabbed Kate, pulling her back as medical personnel rushed forward. But Kate fought against the grip, trying to reach Thornton. She shouted, "He saved my life. Ma'am, we need to get you to safety now." Kate was dragged toward the private exit, her eyes locked on Thornton's seizing form. The medical team worked frantically, but she could see it in their faces. They were losing him as the door closed behind her. Cutting off her view of the Grand Hall, one thought consumed her mind. How did a royal guard know the champagne was poisoned? And why did he apologize before saving her life? The secure room they took Kate to was deep in the palace's underground level. She'd never been here before. Few people had. The walls were reinforced concrete. No windows. No decorations. Just harsh fluorescent lights and a single metal table with 2 chairs. Kate sat down without being asked. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Margaret Chen paced the small space, speaking rapidly into her phone. "I want every person in that hall identified and detained. Every single one. Staff, guests, catering, everyone. Nobody leaves." She ended the call and looked at Kate. For the first time since Kate had known her, Margaret's professional mask cracked. She looked afraid. "The champagne was laced with polonium-210, Margaret said quietly. "Radioactive poison. If you had taken even one more sip—" She didn't finish. She didn't need to. Kate's mind flashed to the Russian dissident who had been poisoned in London years ago. Polonium-210. It had taken weeks for him to die. Agonizing weeks. Officer Thornton? Kate asked. Margaret's expression darkened. Critical condition. He's being treated at the secure medical facility. The doctors say he ingested the poison himself, probably hours ago, based on the symptoms. The words didn't make sense at first. Then they did. And Kate felt sick. He was supposed to poison me, she whispered. Margaret nodded slowly. That's our current theory. But something changed. At the last moment, he couldn't go through with it. So he knocked the glass away and... She paused. And took the poison himself earlier, perhaps as some form of insurance or coercion. Kate stood abruptly, the chair scraping against concrete. I need to see him. Absolutely not. Da-da-da. Margaret, he saved my life. He was part of a plot to kill you, Margaret said firmly. We don't know if this is over. We don't know who else is involved. Until we have answers, you're staying here. Kate wanted to argue, but the look in Margaret's eyes stopped her. This wasn't a request. Tell me about him, Kate said instead. Who is James Thornton? Margaret pulled out a tablet, swiping through files. Officer James Thornton, age 32. Royal Guard for 8 years. Exemplary record. Not a single incident. He passed every security screening, every background check, every psychological evaluation. She looked up. He was perfect, which is exactly why they chose him. They were investigating several leads. But ma'am, Margaret hesitated. Thornton's daughter, Emily, age 7. She was reported missing 3 days ago. The room seemed to tilt. Kate gripped the edge of the table. His ex-wife called it in. Margaret continued. Said Thornton was supposed to have Emily for the weekend, but when she went to pick her up, the house was empty. Thornton claimed Emily was with his mother. His mother said Emily was with him. Nobody's seen the girl since Friday. Kate felt tears burning in her eyes. She understood now. The guilt in Thornton's face. The whispered apology. The terror. They took his daughter, Kate breathed. They took his daughter and told him to poison me, or they'd kill her. Margaret nodded. It's the most likely scenario. So where is she? Do we have any leads? We have every available resource searching. But ma'am, these people are professionals. They've planned this carefully. Kate's phone buzzed. She'd forgotten she even had it. The screen showed a message from an unknown number. Her security training screamed at her not to open it, but something made her tap the notification anyway. The message contained a single video file. Don't open that, Margaret warned. Reaching for the phone, but Kate had already pressed play. The video showed a small room, concrete walls like the one they were in now, and sitting on a mattress on the floor, clutching a stuffed rabbit, was a little girl with dark curly hair and James Thornton's eyes. Emily? She looked terrified but unharmed. The video was only 5 seconds long. No audio. No identifying features in the background. Then a text appeared below the video. It guard failed. The princess lives. Now the child pays the price. You have 24 hours to make this right, or Emily Thornton dies like her father will. Kate's hands went numb. The phone slipped from her fingers and clattered on the table. Margaret grabbed it, her face going pale as she watched the video. They sent this to you directly, Margaret whispered. How did they get your private number? But Kate wasn't thinking about security protocols anymore. She was thinking about a 7-year-old girl sitting alone in a dark room, holding a stuffed rabbit, waiting for a father who was dying in a hospital bed. We have to find her, Kate said. Whatever they want, whatever they're asking for, we have to save that child. Margaret looked at her with something like pity. Ma'am, we don't negotiate with terrorists. It's not a terrorist. That's a little girl. And using her is what terrorists do. Kate met Margaret's eyes with a hardness she rarely showed. I don't care about policy right now. Find out what they want. Find out who they are. And find Emily Thornton before it's too late. Margaret started to respond, but another message appeared on Kate's phone. Just 2 words. Watch him. The secure medical facility was 3 floors beneath the palace. Kate had overruled every objection to get here. She was still the Princess of Wales, and right now, she needed answers only one person could give. Officer James Thornton lay in the hospital bed, connected to machines that beeped steadily in the sterile silence. His skin had taken on a grayish tone. His breathing was shallow, but his eyes were open. They tracked Kate as she entered the room, followed by Margaret and 2 armed guards who positioned themselves by the door.
Oh,
Your Royal Highness? Thornton's voice was barely a whisper. You shouldn't be here. Kate pulled a chair to his bedside. You saved my life. The least I can do is thank you in person. A bitter smile crossed his cracked lips. I was supposed to kill you. Gratitude seems inappropriate, but you didn't, no? His eyes filled with tears. I couldn't. Even for her, I couldn't. Kate leaned closer. Emily is still alive, James. We received a video. She's scared, but she's alive. The machines beside him erupted in rapid beeping. His heart rate spiked. Hope and terror warred across his face. They said they'd let her go, he gasped. If I did this, they promised they'd let her go.
Who promised you?
Who took her? Thornton's hand gripped the bedrail, knuckles white. I never saw faces. Just voices on the phone. Instructions. They sent me a video of Emily. She was crying, asking for me. His voice broke. They said if I told anyone, they'd kill her immediately. If I failed, they'd kill her slowly. Kate felt her heart breaking, but she kept her voice steady. How did they contact you? Encrypted messages. Untraceable. They knew everything about me. My schedule. My roots. Where Emily went to school. Where my mother lived. Coughed, and blood appeared on his lips. They gave me the poison 3 days ago. Told me to drink half of it myself. Insurance, they called it. So I'd know what I was doing to you. So I wouldn't back out. But you did back out. I saw your face, Thornton whispered, when they handed you that glass. You smiled. You thanked the server. And I thought about Emily seeing news reports that I'd murdered the Princess of Wales. I thought about her growing up knowing her father was an assassin. He closed his eyes. I couldn't let that be her memory of me. Margaret stepped forward. Officer Thornton, we need anything you can give us. Any detail about the people who took Emily? Accents? Background noise? Anything? Thornton's breathing became more labored. The voice was British. Educated, male, but I think he was using a voice modulator. Too smooth, too perfect. He paused, struggling. There was something else. In the last video they sent me, the one with Emily, I heard something in the background. Very faint. What was it? Kate asked urgently. Bells, church bells. Not recording, real, like they were close to a church. Margaret was already on her phone, relaying the information. We can cross-reference that with the timestamp. Narrow down which churches were ringing at that exact time. Thornton grabbed Kate's hand suddenly. His grip was weak, but desperate. Please, please save my daughter. I don't care what happens to me. I deserve this. But Emily, she's innocent. We're going to find her, Kate promised. I swear to you, Your Royal Highness. One of the guards by the door spoke up. You have an urgent call. It's Prince William. Kate reluctantly released Thornton's hand and stepped into the hallway. William's voice was tight with controlled anger when she answered. Kate, what are you doing? Security says you went to see the guard who tried to kill you. He didn't try to kill me. He saved me, after being part of a conspiracy to poison you. William's voice rose. You need to step back and let security handle this. His daughter's missing, William. A 7-year-old girl? I know. I've been briefed. But that doesn't change the fact that you're making yourself vulnerable. These people already tried once. They could try again. Kate lowered her voice. They contacted me directly. Sent me a video of the girl. They have my personal number, William. They're inside our security somehow. Silence on the other end. Then I'm coming to you. Don't move. The call ended. Kate stood in the hallway, the fluorescent lights humming overhead. She felt exhausted, afraid, but also determined. Margaret emerged from Thornton's room. We've identified 8 churches within hearing distance of central London that rang their bells at the timestamp. We're sending teams to each location now. It's not fast enough, Kate said. We have less than 24 hours. Ma'am, we're doing everything. Kate's phone buzzed again. Another message from the unknown number. This time it was a photograph. Emily Thornton, still in the same room. But now she was holding a newspaper. Today's newspaper. Proof of life. And below the photo, a message that made Kate's blood run cold. You want to save her? Then you come alone. We'll send you the address. If anyone follows you, the girl dies. If you tell security, the girl dies. If you bring backup, the girl dies. You have 1 hour to decide. Will you trade yourself for the child? Margaret read over Kate's shoulder and immediately grabbed her arm. Absolutely not. This is exactly what they want. You're not going. But Kate was already thinking, already calculating, already knowing what she had to do. Get me a car, she said quietly. Your Royal Highness, get me a car, Margaret. That's an order. In the room behind them, the machines connected to James Thornton began to alarm. Doctors rushed past them, flooding into the room. Kate heard one of them shout, "He's crashing!" But she didn't go back inside. She couldn't. Because she already knew what was about to happen next. And she knew that, in less than 1 hour, she would have to make an impossible choice. Kate sat in the back of the secure conference room, staring at the message on her phone. 45 minutes had passed. 45 minutes of arguments, protocols, and security briefings. William had arrived with the head of MI5. They stood around a tactical map, planning rescue scenarios. But Kate knew none of them would work. Not in time. We can't let her go in, William said for the 10th time. It's a trap. They'll kill both her and the child. We have to consider that the child might already be dead, the MI5 director said coldly. This could be a ploy to acquire a higher value target. Kate spoke without looking up. Emily is alive. They need her alive to control me, Your Royal Highness. With respect, you're not trained for hostage situations. No, Kate agreed. But I am trained to do what's right. Margaret approached her carefully. Ma'am, we've tracked the location from the cell tower pings. It's an abandoned textile factory in East London. The area matches the church bell's time frame. We can have tactical teams in position within 20 minutes. And the moment they see those teams, Emily dies, Kate said. We all know that. We can't be certain. Yes, we can. Kate finally looked up, meeting the eyes of everyone in the room. Because if I were them, that's exactly what I'd do. They've thought of everything. They knew I'd go to Thornton. They knew I'd see that video. They're controlling this entire situation. William sat down beside her, taking her hand. Kate, please. Let us handle this. You have 3 children who need their mother. The words hit hard. George, Charlotte, Louis. Kate thought of them sleeping safely at the estate, unaware that their mother was planning to walk into a death trap. But she also thought of Emily Thornton, holding her stuffed rabbit, waiting for rescue that wasn't coming fast enough. What would you do? Kate asked William quietly. If it were George. If someone took our son, and the only way to save him was to offer yourself? William's jaw tightened. They both knew the answer. Kate's phone buzzed. The address appeared on screen with a new message. Time's up, Princess. Send us a photo of you leaving the palace alone in the next 10 minutes, or we start sending you pieces of Emily, starting with her fingers. Kate stood abruptly. I'm going. Hell you are, William said, standing with her. But Kate was already moving toward the door. Margaret and 2 guards blocked her path. Your Royal Highness, we cannot allow this. Kate's voice became steel. I am not asking permission. Move aside, ma'am, please. That is an order. The room fell silent. Everyone knew that technically, Kate didn't have the authority to override security protocols. But everyone also knew that she was about to do it anyway. William stepped between Kate and the door. Then I'm coming with you. Kate, they said alone. If they see you, Emily dies. I won't take that risk. She touched his face gently. but I need you to do something for me. If this goes wrong, if I don't come back, make sure our children know why. Make sure they know I did this because some things are more important than safety. That some children are worth saving, no matter the cost." Tears filled William's eyes. "Don't talk like that. Promise me, Kate. Promise me, William." He pulled her into a fierce embrace. "I promise. But you're coming back. You hear me? You're coming back." Kate kissed him, trying to memorize the moment. Then she pulled away and looked at Margaret. "Give me a wire. Audio only. Hide it somewhere they won't find it." Margaret hesitated, then nodded. Within minutes, Kate had a tiny audio transmitter sewn into the lining of her jacket. It would broadcast to security. They could listen, even if they couldn't intervene. "The moment we hear your safe word, we come in," Margaret said. "No matter what the consequences." Kate nodded. "The safe word is Charlotte." She chose her daughter's name deliberately. If she had to say it, she wanted to be thinking of her children. Remembering why she fought to stay alive, 10 minutes later, Kate stood alone in the palace courtyard. A simple car waited. No driver, no security detail. Just her. She took a photo of herself beside the car and sent it to the unknown number. The response came immediately. "Good girl. Now, drive to the address. Park in front. Wait for instructions. And Princess, we're watching. Always watching." Kate got in the car. Her hands shook as she gripped the steering wheel. She'd driven herself before, but never like this. Never knowing she might be driving to her death, the security team would be tracking her. Following at a distance, but they couldn't help her. Not until it was too late, the drive through London felt surreal. Normal people going about normal lives. Tourists taking photos. Couples holding hands, none of them knowing that the Princess of Wales was driving past them. Heading toward an abandoned factory in East London to trade her life for a child's. The textile factory appeared after 30 minutes. Exactly as described. Broken windows. Graffiti-covered walls. A place forgotten by time. Kate parked. Waited. Her phone rang. She answered. "Walk inside. Second floor. Room at the end of the hall. You have 5 minutes." The call ended. Kate took a deep breath. She thought of George, Charlotte, Louis, William, her parents, everyone she loved. Then she thought of Emily Thornton, and she got out of the car. The factory was dark inside, cold. The smell of mold and decay filled her lungs. Her footsteps echoed on the metal stairs, second floor. The hallway stretched ahead, lit only by afternoon light filtering through broken windows. Kate walked forward, each step feeling heavier than the last. The room at the end had its door slightly open. Kate pushed it wider and saw Emily Thornton sitting on a chair, her hands tied, tears streaming down her face. But Emily wasn't alone. Standing behind her, holding a gun to the child's head, was someone Kate recognized. Someone who shouldn't be here. Someone she trusted. Thomas Pemberton smiled at her from across the room. Thomas, William's childhood friend. Someone who'd been to their home 100 times. Someone who'd held George as a baby. Someone Kate had trusted without question. "Hello, Catherine," he said pleasantly, as if they were meeting for tea. Kate's mind went blank with shock. Then everything clicked into place. Thomas worked in private security. He had access. He had knowledge. "He'd been at the reception tonight, Kate whispered. Thomas confirmed. He still held the gun pressed against Emily's head. The little girl was sobbing silently, her whole body shaking. "I must say I'm impressed you came alone." "I had doubts." "Let her go," Kate said. "You wanted me?" "I'm here." "Let Emily go, eventually. First, we're going to have a conversation." Thomas gestured to a chair opposite Emily. "Sit. Hands where I can see them." Kate sat slowly. Her mind raced. The audio wire hidden in her jacket was recording everything. Security was listening. But they were at least 5 minutes away. Maybe more. 5 minutes could be a lifetime. "Why?" Kate asked, buying time. "Why would you do this?" Thomas laughed. "You really don't know?" "Of course you don't. People like you never see people like me. I've been standing in the background for 20 years, watching, serving, being useful." His voice hardened. "Being invisible." "Thomas, this isn't don't use that tone with me," he snapped. "That royal tone. The one that says you're better than everyone else. That says your life matters more." Pressed the gun harder against Emily's head. The girl whimpered. Kate forced herself to stay calm. "What do you want?" "What do I want?" Thomas seemed to consider this. "I wanted recognition. I wanted the contracts that were promised to me. I wanted what I earned. But your husband's government gave those contracts to someone else. Someone with better connections, better blood. So you decided to murder me?" "I decided to make a statement." Thomas's eyes gleamed with something unhinged. "The polonium wasn't meant to kill you immediately. It was meant to make you suffer, to watch you waste away over weeks, to make the royal family helpless as one of their own died slowly." Kate felt sick. "And James Thornton? The guard? A useful tool. Desperate father. Easy to manipulate." Thomas shrugged. "I didn't expect him to grow a conscience. That was unfortunate. But it led to something better." He gestured at Kate. "It led to you being here. And when they find your body, along with this child's, it will devastate William. Destroy him. And I'll be there to comfort him. To guide him. To finally get what I deserve. You're insane. I'm practical." Thomas reached into his pocket with his free hand, pulling out a syringe. "This is a sedative. Strong enough to keep you unconscious while I stage a murder-suicide." The desperate princess, overwhelmed by the attempt on her life, tracks down the guard's daughter. In her traumatized state, she kills the child and herself. Tragic, poetic even. Kate's heart hammered. She had to keep him talking. Had to give security time to get here. "They'll know it was staged," she said. "Forensics will prove it, will they?" Thomas smiled. "I've planned this for months. Every detail. Every contingency. By the time they realize something's wrong, I'll have already left the country. New identity. New life. And the money from the contracts I sold to foreign interests will keep me comfortable forever." "What contracts?" "Security protocols. Royal schedules. Protection details." Thomas said it casually, as if discussing the weather. "There are people who pay very well for that information. People who don't like your family's influence. People who want chaos." Kate understood now. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about treason. "Thomas, listen to me," Kate said carefully. "It's not too late. Let Emily go. Turn yourself in. I'll speak for you. I'll tell them about the contracts, the pressure." "Shut up." Thomas's hand shook. "Stop pretending you care. Stop pretending you're some kind of saint." Emily sobbed louder. Kate's eyes met the little girl's. She saw terror there, but also something else. A desperate hope that the princess would save her. Kate made a decision. "You're right," she said quietly. "I'm not a saint. I'm just a person, like you. Like James Thornton. Like this little girl." She stood slowly, hands still visible. "But I'm also a mother. And I know what James felt when you took his daughter. I know the choice he faced. And I know he died trying to protect both of us." "Sit down," Thomas ordered. Kate took a step forward. "No, I will shoot her. No, you won't." Kate took another step. "Because if you shoot her, you lose your leverage. You lose your plan. And then it's just you and me in this room. And Thomas. I've spent 12 years learning self-defense from the best security team in the world. I'm not some helpless princess in a tower." Thomas's face twisted with rage. He swung the gun away from Emily's head, pointing it at Kate instead. It was the opening she needed. Kate lunged forward, not toward Thomas, but toward Emily. She grabbed the girl's chair and yanked it backward. Pulling Emily away from Thomas's reach, the gun went off. The sound was deafening in the enclosed space. Kate felt something hot graze her shoulder. Pain exploded through her arm. But she kept moving, throwing her body over Emily's, shielding the child. Thomas cursed, advancing. Kate heard his footsteps, felt him grab her hair, yanking her head back. The gun pressed against her temple. "Stupid," he hissed. "So stupid." Kate closed her eyes. She thought of her children. She thought of William. She thought of Emily Thornton beneath her, small and trembling and alive. She whispered one word. "Charlotte." Glass shattered. The windows exploded inward. Security teams rappelled into the room from 3 directions simultaneously. Red laser sights covered Thomas from every angle. "Drop the weapon. Drop it now." Thomas froze. For a moment, Kate thought he might pull the trigger anyway. Might take her with him out of spite. Then his hand loosened. The gun fell to the floor, and Thomas Pemberton collapsed to his knees, tears streaming down his face. "It wasn't supposed to be like this," he whispered. "It wasn't supposed to end like this." Margaret Chen appeared beside Kate, helping her up. "Medic. We need a medic here." But Kate ignored her own wound. She knelt beside Emily, cutting the ropes with a knife one of the officers handed her. The little girl threw her arms around Kate's neck, sobbing uncontrollably. "It's okay," Kate whispered, holding her tight. "You're safe now. You're safe." As security led Thomas away in handcuffs, Kate heard him laugh. A broken, bitter sound. "You think this is over?" he called back. "You think I'm the only one? The information's already out there, Catherine. Already sold. They know everything. Your schedules. Your routes. Your children's schools." Margaret's face went pale. Kate felt ice flood her veins. "What did you do?" Margaret demanded. Thomas smiled through his tears. "I burned it all down. If I can't have what I deserve, nobody gets anything. Especially not you people. The documents are set to release in 72 hours unless I stop them. And I won't. Even in prison, I'll make sure the world sees exactly how vulnerable you really are." He was still laughing as they dragged him away. The hospital room was quiet except for the steady beep of monitors. Kate sat beside the bed where Emily Thornton slept. Her small hand wrapped around Kate's. The doctor said she was physically unharmed, but the psychological scars would take time to heal. On the other bed, separated by a curtain, James Thornton lay in an induced coma. The polonium poisoning had ravaged his system. The doctors gave him a 30% chance of survival. But he was fighting. For Emily. For redemption. For the chance to be her father again. William entered quietly, carrying 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to Kate, then kissed her forehead, careful to avoid the bandage on her shoulder where Thomas's bullet had grazed her. "MI5 found the servers," he said softly. Thomas had everything backed up in 3 different locations. Security protocols. Family schedules. Protection details. Everything. Kate closed her eyes. How bad? Bad enough that we're implementing emergency protocol changes. The children are being moved to a secure location. New security team. New procedures. He paused. "We're going to have to change how we live, Kate, for their safety." "I know." They sat in silence for a moment. Then William spoke again. "They're asking how much to tell the public. About Thomas. About the poisoning. About what happened here." Kate looked at Emily's sleeping face. "Tell them everything." "Kate, everything," she repeated firmly. "Tell them that someone we trusted betrayed us. Tell them about James Thornton, who was forced to make an impossible choice and chose honor. Tell them about Emily. Tell them about the security breach." She looked at William. People deserve to know the truth. Not some sanitized version. The truth will scare them. Good. It scared me too. Kate squeezed Emily's hand gently. "But it will also show them that we're human. That we face the same fears they do. That we make mistakes and we survive them." William nodded slowly. "The press is calling you a hero. For saving Emily? I'm not a hero. I just did what any mother would do. It's exactly what makes you a hero." The door opened. Margaret entered with a tablet. Her expression was grave. "We have a problem," she said. Thomas had a partner. Someone on the inside who helped him access the security systems. We found coded messages on his phone. Kate felt her stomach drop. Who? We don't know yet. The messages are encrypted. But whoever it is still has access. They could still release the information. Margaret looked between them. We have 68 hours to find them before everything goes public. What about Thomas? William asked. Can we make him talk? He's not talking. His lawyer has advised complete silence. Margaret hesitated. But there might be another way. Officer Thornton. If he wakes up, he might know something. Thomas used him. There might have been details he noticed. Kate looked at the curtain separating Emily from her father. The doctor said waking him early could kill him. But if we don't find Thomas's partner... Margaret didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Kate stood, walking to the curtain. She pulled it back slightly, looking at James Thornton's pale face. This man who'd been forced into an impossible situation, who'd made the right choice when it mattered most. Him, she said quietly. Ma'am, wake him. But Emily doesn't see him like this. Not yet. She deserves to remember her father as the man who saved us. Not like this. Margaret nodded and left to get the doctors. William stood beside Kate, looking down at Thornton. Do you think he knows anything? I don't know. But we have to try. 20 minutes later, the doctors began the process. Reducing the sedatives. Monitoring his vital signs, Kate and William stood at the foot of the bed. Waiting. Thornton's eyes fluttered. Opened. Confusion clouded his features. Then clarity. Then fear. Emily, he gasped. Where's Emily? She's safe, Kate said, moving to his side. She's right here. Sleeping in the next bed. She's safe, James. Tears streamed down Thornton's face. You saved her. You actually saved her. We saved each other, Kate said. James, we need your help. Thomas Pemberton was behind everything. But he had a partner. Someone helping him from inside the palace security. We need to find them before they release sensitive information. Thornton's face went pale. Pemberton. I heard that name. When they called me. In the background once, someone said Pemberton will handle the tech. Did you hear another name? William asked urgently. Thornton closed his eyes, struggling to remember. A woman's voice. She said something about the Windsor Protocols, that they needed to crack the Windsor Protocols before Friday. Kate and William exchanged looks. The Windsor Protocols were the highest level of security clearance. Only a handful of people had access. Margaret appeared in the doorway. Kate saw it in her face. She'd figured it out. It's Carolyn, Margaret said, her voice hollow. Carolyn Bexley, the Deputy Director of Internal Security. The name hit like a physical blow. Carolyn had been with them for 5 years. She'd vetted security teams. She'd coordinated protection details. She had access to everything. Where is she now? William demanded. We don't know. She didn't report for duty this morning. Her apartment is empty. Her phone is off. Margaret looked devastated. She could be anywhere. And she has everything Thomas collected. If she releases it, she won't, Kate said with more confidence than she felt. Because she wants something. Otherwise, she would have released it already. Thomas acted out of revenge. But Caroline? She's pragmatic. She'll try to negotiate. As if summoned by the words, Kate's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered on speaker. Hello, Your Royal Highness. Carolyn Bexley's voice was calm, almost pleasant. I assume you've figured it out by now? What do you want, Carolyn? Kate asked. What I've always wanted, recognition, compensation, and safe passage out of the country. She paused. I'll give you the servers in exchange for £10 million. Transfer to an account, I'll specify. And a 12-hour head start before you alert international authorities. That's not going to happen, William said. Then I release everything. Every schedule. Every protocol. Every vulnerability. And I let the world know that the royal family can't even protect themselves. How long do you think the monarchy survives after that? Kate looked at Emily sleeping peacefully, then at James Thornton, fighting to stay conscious. Fighting to stay alive for his daughter. You can have your money, Kate said, and your head start. Kate Williams started, but Kate raised her hand. You can have it all, Caroline. On one condition. You come here first. You look this man in the eye. She gestured to Thornton. You look at the man whose life you destroyed, whose daughter you terrorized, and you tell him it was worth it. You won't do it, Kate continued, because you're a coward. You hide behind screens and encrypted messages. You let Thomas take all the risks while you stayed safe. You're not smart or powerful. You're just cruel. And small? You think you can manipulate me? Caroline's voice turned cold. No, I think you're already trapped. Because if you release that information, you lose your leverage. You lose your negotiating power. You become worthless to the people you plan to sell it to. Kate's voice hardened. You have 1 hour to turn yourself in. After that, we freeze every financial account you've ever touched. We alert every border. We make you the most wanted person in the world. Your choice, Carolyn. The call ended. William stared at Kate. That was either brilliant or insane. Kate admitted. They waited. 30 minutes passed. 45. Kate began to think Caroline had called her bluff. Then Margaret burst into the room. We've got her. She tried to cross at Dover. Border agents detained her. The servers are secure. Kate felt her knees go weak with relief. William caught her, holding her steady. From the next bed, Emily Thornton stirred. Her eyes opened. And the first thing she saw was her father, awake and smiling at her despite his pain. Daddy, she whispered. Hey, little rabbit, Thornton said, his voice breaking. I'm here. Daddy's here. Emily scrambled from her bed, and Kate helped lift her onto her father's bed. The little girl buried her face in his chest, sobbing. Thornton wrapped his arms around her, tears streaming down his face. I'm sorry, he kept saying. I'm so sorry, baby. I love you so much. Kate and William quietly left the room, giving them privacy. In the hallway, Kate leaned against the wall, exhausted. It's over, William said. It's really over. Kate said softly. It's not over. It's just beginning. We have to rebuild security from the ground up. We have to regain the public's trust. We have to help James and Emily heal. She looked at him. And we have to be better, more vigilant, more careful. Because this won't be the last time someone tries to hurt us. William pulled her close. We'll face it together, like we always do. 3 months later, Kate stood in the palace gardens for a small, private ceremony. James Thornton, recovered but scarred, stood beside Emily. He wore his Royal Guard uniform one last time. Not as an active officer he'd resigned, but as a recipient of the Royal Medal of Merit for valor and sacrifice. Kate pinned the medal to his chest. You saved my life, Officer Thornton. You protected an innocent child at the cost of your own well-being. You represent the very best of what service means. Thornton shook his head. I made terrible mistakes, Your Royal Highness. You made human mistakes under inhuman pressure. And when it mattered most, you chose honor. Kate smiled at Emily, who watched with pride. Your daughter knows who you really are. That's what matters. After the ceremony, as the sun set over the gardens, Kate watched Emily and James walk hand in hand toward the gate. A father and daughter healing together. Moving forward despite everything? Margaret approached her. The last of the security changes are complete. We're as safe as we can be. We're never really safe, Kate said. But we're strong. We survived. And we'll survive whatever comes next. That night, Kate tucked her own children into bed. She held them a little tighter, appreciated them a little more, because she knew how fragile everything was, how quickly it could all be taken away. But she also knew how strong they were, how resilient, how capable of facing darkness and emerging into light. George looked up at her sleepily. Mummy, is it true you saved a little girl? Kate brushed his hair back. I helped save her, but really, we saved each other. That's what families do, Charlotte said wisely from her bed. They save each other. Kate smiled, thinking of James and Emily Thornton, of the family they were rebuilding from ashes, of the family she had, safe and whole in this moment. Yes, darling, she whispered. That's exactly what families do. She kissed each of them goodnight, turned off the light, and stood in the doorway for a moment, watching them sleep, grateful for every ordinary, precious moment. The glass had shattered that night at the reception, but they had put the pieces back together, different than before. Scarred, yes, but stronger. And that, Kate thought, was the real story. Not the poison, or the betrayal, or the rescue, but the way they survived it. Together.